Hey, welcome back to episode 6 of Mindful Pulses, and happy Monday. Today we're going to be talking about pain. Of course, there's been a countless number of books and authors, poets, talking about pain, philosophers, from the Bible to Kafka to Dante. My take on pain is that it's the necessary evil that, makes you appreciate what it is to be a human. And I'm hoping that by the end of this video, you will have a good grasp of how you can actually deal with pain, even the most extreme cases, and perhaps provide for a silver lining about how you can effectively manage and go through pain. We'll separate those conversations between perhaps what I refer to as moral or psychological pain, and a bigger focus on physical pain. So I'll start with the story, which I think is relevant, of the surgery I went through, the heart surgery that I faced, and making the point that oftentimes our brains actively anticipate pain and make it worse than what it actually is. Simple example, you look at a needle stuck into an arm, you have a feeling that this is going to be horrible, right? And then when it actually happens to you, most of the time it's a simple poke and it goes through very easily. It's kind of a similar idea there, but I think the fundamental point about pain is that it should be viewed as a reminder of course, the human condition, and it's a very deep feeling. Wim Hof was talking about this as you get out of the ice bath. I was talking about the cold plunge. You are usually able to do things that are a lot more painful because you've got that dopamine high, but he was talking about pain as being a very deep feeling that you have to learn to master and control. An example of that is, when a mother gives birth, before we had all the medicine and epidural and whatnot, we had that breathing technique, where you create your own DMT and dopamine, and let you presumably relax and go through the birth. Fundamentally, for me, a good way to deal with pain, physical pain, is to go through a meditation practice, whereby you're able to, at some point, detach yourself of who you are. I think that's the biggest achievement that you can have when you're still on this earth. It is this ability to really open your third eye and be able to be a witness to your life. Look at yourself almost as if you were detached, right? And if you're able to do that, you can also presumably detach what you're feeling and the pain. So that's one element. The second element is the notion of being able to completely let go and not fight it. So let me provide some actual context for this. So as I went through my surgery, and somewhat linked, the really difficult mental, psychological pain for me was to wake up, at 4 a.m. My kids were asleep, my wife was asleep, and I had to take my Uber to the hospital, full aware and knowing that I might not come back. I mean, remote chances, but probably close to maybe 5%, right? Which is not nothing. And so I had done everything I could to prepare. I wrote that letter, but just the idea that, you know, I might not come back was tough. Not so much for myself, but again, more because morally you're thinking about the folks that you love left behind. That is a very tough thing, I would say. So that was the first step. Then I got to the hospital, met with the doctor, anesthesiologist, and by the time I was down in the block and the time we started to talk, it's a complete blur. What they don't tell you, for good reasons, is that when you wake up, you're going to wake up to a 12-inch tube down your throat as you were intubated, and that feeling was horrible. It was definitely a feeling of drowning and not being able to breathe at all, and a feeling of panic. At some point, because that lasted so long, and I think it was the shock of just coming back to life, to the conscious self, I decided just to let go, right? Because I was trying to fight the urge, that you have to try to breathe. But at some point I saw that there was nothing I could do. I was just stuck there with a tube and probes down my throat. So I just decided to let go, and then I guess the medicine, everything else, took over. So I don't remember quite well what happened after that. But that was the first episode, and that's really the only very painful thing that I had. They prescribed me a bunch of Oxycontin and a whole bunch of, horrible medicine, which I refused very quickly because I didn't want to be nauseous, and I actually wanted to be aware of and feeling the pain of my lungs. They had to collapse the left lung, and of course, a surgery like that, it's not trivial. So you have a whole bunch of holes, tubes going through your lungs for drainage, and I think I had 3 holes on my side, and then a main scar about, not that bad, about maybe 6 inches. But I wanted to celebrate being back, right? And I wanted to feel. So I turned down all of that medicine. The pain that I experienced the first night was also due to the fact that I was hooked up to a machine that was monitoring my blood sugar. And they had to check my blood sugar every 20 minutes, 25 minutes for 8 hours straight. So you can imagine having someone coming every 20, 25 minutes to poke your fingers and your hands. My hands were blue. And it was painful because it was constant. I think it was 40, or I don't know exactly, 35 pokes. Well, I was laughing, in the end, because I decided that I wasn't going to be, a victim of that pain, if you will. So my state of mind was very much one of, again, letting go. And I think that you can get to that point if you do the homework. The homework meaning when you are healthy and active and you're not sick, to voluntarily expose yourself to some challenges, whether it's the cold or the heat for that matter in a sauna, whether it's breathing exercise or most importantly meditation. It's a good way to prepare your mind for situations like that, and it really toughen up your I think your tolerance. I'm a big baby, I don't like needles, but I was poked, I don't know, probably 25 times. That first night I had a nurse at arm length that literally saved my life, because my blood pressure dropped significantly, and had she not be there, I don't know what would have happened. But definitely different protocols compared to to France, where I was joking, but France, they cut you up, they put you in a room, and if you're still awake the next day, hey, you made it, congratulations. Here in America, it's the protocols are a little bit different, and the bill is about the same. The only difference is that in France they subsidize half of it. So for a heart surgery, for one single bypass, which is what I had, about $350,000. In France, it'd be probably about 150,000 euros being billed to the insurance, and about the same in Mexico, actually. So, in a nutshell, I think physical pain, again, can be dealt with lots of meditation, through the breathing, and through a conscious goal of really letting go. And by letting go, you let in relaxation, and you actually let in peace, which is really what you're looking for in a very stressful situation, right? So it's not fun. It's something that I think a lot about, especially in the context of when you have loved one that pass away. I was always thinking about my mother, what might have been her last, seconds or last minutes. I think there's research that shows that when you are ready to die, your brain secretes some type of some kind of chemical to prepare you to go on the other side, which is, again, that goes to show how perfect we are, right? How incredibly well engineered we are. The last philosophical point maybe that I want to make is that it's okay. I mean, people are in pain every day, people die every day. It's part of the cycle of life, and I want to end with somewhat of a positive note about all of this, which is that I have sort of proof that we, in fact, are the universe, that we never die. I went to see a doctor recently for my eyes, and they took a very, very focused picture of the inside of my eye, and I kid you not, when you look at the picture, you see the universe, and we're made of atoms, right, that don't disappear. So I think there is a lot of reconfort about thinking about the fact that we are made of those particles that never really go away. The other thing that makes me, I think, very much at peace is that the community of the dead is way, way larger than the community of the living. Think about it, right? I don't know how many billions of people have died so far and how many are alive today, right? And I don't know, there is something to be said about that fact, and about the fact that we all go through this, if you will. So that's my take on it. The mental pain, I covered that, I think, in my last episode about cold being an incredibly powerful tool to mitigate any kind of addiction or mental pain, as it really neutralizes all of those negative feelings and puts you in in neutral. And at the end of the day, and maybe that is the subject of another video, what is happiness? Happiness is being in neutral, very much so. Happiness is being in neutral. There is a German term, Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude, that describes the pleasure someone has in looking at someone else's pain, whether it's typically envy based on social comparison, or it is, let's say, the pleasure of seeing a convicted criminal getting the chair, or going through something unpleasant. That case is a little bit different. The one case that I really refer to more is the fact that you see oftentimes, which is the envy that you will find from a lot of your acquaintance through your life, or through friends, that in silent envy your position. And if you go through a setback and you are a friendly enough to share what you're going through, that actually they would have the reaction of being internally happy, knowing that you're back to maybe below what they are as a status in society, or any kind of other achievement you may have had and that you failed to achieve. So Schadenfreude, I think it's we're definitely seeing a case of a lot of that in the US and in the Western world in general. People are just not capable, for some reason, to be kind enough to be happy for other people's successes. And I think that when that's the case, you need to educate them. And for people that are like that, they not only lack empathy, but they also haven't done the work, right? The work to look at their own lives and understanding what is really truly important for them and their families. So I think it's a sad state of affairs, but it's just the reality, especially as you look at very materialistic societies, right? There is a lot less work being done on the value of, you know, giving, and whether it's spending and giving away your time or obviously money, or so. But that is something that is interesting, and the German put that in one word. And again, it's somewhat related to pain, the notion of pain, right? So I hope that this video somewhat helped you understand how I view pain. Not necessarily something that you want to eradicate at all costs, not at all. It is very much a concept, a feeling, a way of being that is obviously completely attached to who we are as human beings. It's part of the intimately part of the human experience, and as such, everyone should embrace it, not fight it. You can sort of mitigate it if it's, you know, if you're, you know, looking to live many more years, and let's say you have a broken ankle. Obviously you're not going to continue to walk, you're going to fix it, right? But at the moment of excruciating pain, having that ability to detach yourself and work on the breathing, right, and embrace and accept, I think is the answer to a lot of the horrible situation that you can see, where people are just fighting, constantly fighting, and it actually makes matters worse. So I wish everyone watching this video, of course, all the best, and you know, I hope that you find something interesting as I go through those quick videos. I really appreciate everyone watching. If you like the video, please follow, give me a like, thumbs up, and most importantly, share with your network. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.